This is The Scoop for Wednesday.
I'm Josh Holton with the WMNF News headlines. Voters in Hillsborough County will decide in November whether to increase property taxes in order to strengthen education funding. WMNF's Carrie Lynn Kwiatkowski reports, yesterday the county's school board voted to put the millage increase on the ballot.
During Tuesday's school board meeting, an intense conversation evolved around increased funds for teacher salaries, staff shortages, and academic programs. Board member Washington from District 5 shared his personal experience of financial hardship while teaching.
Every employee in this school system should be paid what they're due. And if we are not, then we are not doing what is right. I am not Shake Washington. We're not sit on this dais and not support my employees. All we want to do is give them a chance to be on the ballot. Let the voters determine.
Before the final vote, Member Rendon from District 4 proposed an amendment.
If this referendum does pass, that the superintendent will create a citizen oversight committee prior to July 1 of 2025.
Board members, you're voting now on Ms. Rendon's amendment to require an oversight committee if the referendum passes. So that passes.
The decision by a vote of 5 in favor and 2 against is now awaiting voter input in November. For WMNF News, I'm Carrie Lynn Kwiatkowski.
The school board members who voted against putting the question on the ballot were Patty Rendon and Stacy Hahn. The members in favor were Nadia Combs, Jessica Vaughn, Henry Shake Washington, Lynn Gray, and Chair Karen Perez. Researchers at the University of South Florida have discovered a marine parasite attacking sea urchins, and that has spread to a new species and region. WMNF's Chris Young reports researchers are concerned it may become a pandemic for sea urchins.
A parasite that devastated sea urchins in the Caribbean and Florida in 2022 has caused another die-off more than 7,000 miles away in the Sea of Oman, according to University of South Florida researchers. Maya Breitbart is a USF Distinguished University professor and co-author of the study.
When we heard about the die-off, we were extremely concerned because in the 1980s, there was a die-off of the same species of urchin throughout the Caribbean, and that really led to degradation of the coral reefs.
In a new study, USF reports that a single-celled organism identified last year as the cause of a mass mortality event in one urchin species is the same parasite currently afflicting the urchin in the Sea of Oman near the Arabian Sea. Breitbart says urchins play a key role in protecting coral reefs.
And they're really important for kind of maintaining the balance between corals and algae on the reefs. And so when we start to lose them, essentially that's another strike against corals that are trying to eke out a living under harsh conditions.
Isabella Ritchie is a PhD student at USF. She says there's still more research to be done.
We're still kind of looking into why it was so severe and how it spreads, how it's transported. So that's all future research we're working on.
Find a link to the research at WMNF.org. For WMNF News, I'm Chris Young.
A federal judge is skeptical about whether the Pasco County Sheriff's Office has stopped targeting people it considers likely to commit future crimes, or that the practice won't resume in the future. The Tampa Bay Times reports a judge issued a report in a federal lawsuit over the sheriff's controversial intelligence-led policing program, which was brought by several Pasco County residents who said they were subjected to monitoring and harassment by sheriff's deputies. The report has recommendations that a district judge should reject some claims while some others are best left for trial, such as whether the policing program has indeed ended or if it continues under another name. Democrats in Florida are galvanizing around abortion as a front and center issue that they say could affect races up and down the ballot in November. On Monday, the 7-member Florida Supreme Court, which includes 5 justices appointed by Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, overturned decades of precedent and upheld a 2022 Florida law banning abortions after 15 weeks of pregnancy, triggering a 2023 law preventing abortions after 6 weeks. Justices, meanwhile, also allowed a proposal to go on the November ballot aimed at enshrining abortion rights in the Florida Constitution that would require approval from at least 60% of voters. The proposal will share the November ballot with presidential candidates. Political insiders had largely written off Florida for Democrats in this year's elections, as Republicans have built a large voter registration advantage and hold all statewide elected offices and supermajorities in the legislature. There are thunderstorms coming throughout much of the day. Highs today around 80, overnight lows in the lower 60s. Tomorrow will be sunny with highs in the mid 70s. I'm Josh Holton with the WMNF News headlines.
This is The Scoop, recorded at WMNF Tampa.